New at 4 in today's Community Focus, a Portsmouth man whose wife died from cancer a year ago today is trying to stop her parents from having visits with his young daughter. Scott Nasso told the Boston Globe that he believes his in-laws made critical medical mistakes that prevented his wife Sherry from getting care that could have saved her life. He said he found evidence that his father-in-law, a pediatrician, wrote dozens of prescriptions for Sherry and their toddler, Layla, and that Sherry's mother, a pathologist, discouraged her from getting proper medical care. When the in-laws petitioned for visitation, Nasso refused. The case then went before a family court judge in Kent County who granted visitation anyway, without a hearing, without findings of fact, and without considering state law. Now their lives hang in the balance. Amanda Milkovits from the Globe, Rhode Island, joins us live in studio now. And Amanda, tell us a little bit more about this case.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on to talk about this very complex and difficult and, quite frankly, very sad story. So this story involves a little used state law where people who want to see their grandchildren are prevented from doing so can ask the family court for assistance. Now, it only applies in Rhode Island for someone whose child has died or divorced. They can ask the family court to grant them visits with their grandchildren. Now, first of all, parents do have a constitutional right to determine the care of their own children, so the bar is supposed to be pretty high. A judge has to hold a hearing and determine findings of facts, above all, the best interests of the child before granting visits. That's not what happened in this case.
So exactly what did happen then?
Okay, so Kent County Family Court Judge Deborah DeSegna granted visits with these grandparents without a hearing, despite the father's objections. Now, he told me his lawyer at the time said he had to agree to the visits or something worse could happen. He thought they were just going to be temporary, but there's really no end in sight. And this judge, as I've found, has done the same thing in other cases.
Now, so what are the grandparents in this situation saying about all of this?
Yeah, so they deny any wrongdoing in Sherry's death. They say they are not a danger to their granddaughter, and they should have the right to visit with her because they've always been in her life.
And so where exactly does this case now go from here? What happens next?
Well, at this point, the State Board of Medical Licensure and Discipline is investigating Scott's claims against his in-laws. And on Tuesday, the chief judge of the family court is going to decide on moving the case to another courthouse. Scott told me that he hopes whoever the new judge is, he gets a hearing this time.
A very interesting case, very complex as well. As you noted, you can find Amanda's full story on globe.com/RI. Amanda Milkovits, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on.